In a locked apartment, Natsumi's young son began learning an unknown temari song. She thought it was her late grandmother watching over them, but each night the sound of the bouncing came closer. If you have ever left a child home alone, you know the silence of a locked room. It should be safe. And still, something deep in your chest refuses to settle. But the true fear comes when you return. No one is in the room, and yet the feeling that someone had been there just moments ago has been wiped clean. Maybe that was the kind of silence waiting in that room. From the Ghost Files. For a long time, Natsumi had lived in that house as if she had to hold her breath. Her husband stayed out, chasing his own pleasures, and almost never came home. Her mother-in-law used the phrase, "for Hinata's sake," to justify everything. She tried to decide his lessons, his schooling, all of it, without asking. If Natsumi talked back, the air in the house turned cold at once. If she kept quiet, she felt herself growing thinner, little by little. That was how every day passed. At the end of spring, Natsumi rented a room in an old public housing apartment complex. She packed only what they needed, took her son, and left. It was less a move than an escape. The room was small. There was not enough furniture. The kitchen faucet gave an ugly squeal if she turned it even a little. Even so, at night, the moment she locked the door, she felt at last that their life belonged to them again. Life was not easy. By day, she worked in an office. When she came home, she did the laundry and cooked. After Hinata fell asleep, she started on the work she had brought home. If she refused overtime, her pay went down. If she took it, Hinata spent more time alone. Every day, she walked that same narrow edge. Still, Natsumi did not completely break. She had her late grandmother's words. When Natsumi was little, whenever school became too much to bear, her grandmother listened until the very end. And while bouncing an old red hand-stitched temari ball, she always said the same thing. As long as you're alive, good things don't have to be big. One or two small things will drop into your path. Pick them up as you go, and somehow you can keep walking until tomorrow. For Natsumi, that memory was the small light that kept shining through those hard days. The first strange thing happened one evening, about a month after they moved in. Natsumi came in, carrying grocery bags. Hinata was sitting on the tatami. In his hands was a small cloth temari ball she had never seen before. He was bouncing it, playing by himself. Pon, pon. In time, with the soft sound, Hinata sang under his breath a song he had only just learned. 1, the old bridge in the east. 2, the bell deep in the mountains. 3, the red flower by the water. Where did you learn that? When Natsumi asked, Hinata answered as if it were nothing at all. The old lady who came earlier taught me. She comes to play sometimes when I'm by myself. Natsumi looked toward the front door without thinking. When she came in, The door had still been locked, just as she had left it that morning. The windows were latched, too. "I didn't open the door," Hinata said, "or the windows. I just heard the ball behind me, so I turned around." And she was already sitting in the room, right there on the tatami, like it was the most normal thing in the world. "What did the old woman look like?" Natsumi asked. Hinata thought for a moment. Then he said she was kind. There was a black dot by her mouth, and her eyes almost closed when she smiled. The way he said it made the memory of Natsumi's grandmother rise from where she had kept it buried. That night, after Hinata fell asleep, Natsumi stood at the sink and cried alone. The person she had wanted so badly to see, even if she would not show herself to Natsumi, was coming to see her son. Thinking that made her feel a little less alone. After that, several times, Natsumi would come home to find that Hinata had learned another temari song. Some days, red scraps of thread lay in the corner of the room. Some nights, from the back of the built-in closet, there came the smell of damp cloth like an old chest of drawers. Natsumi pretended not to notice. If someone was watching over them, then that was enough. That was what she kept telling herself. But the life she thought she had finally won began to come apart from another direction. One day, work ran late. She came home later than usual. When she opened the door, the apartment was completely dark. In the entryway, Hinata's shoes were the only ones missing. On the low table was a short note. It was her mother-in-law's handwriting. "I will be keeping the child here. You are not yet capable of raising him." That was all it said. With shaking hands, Natsumi called her mother-in-law. "Please give him back." She begged her again and again. But her mother-in-law only repeated in a calm voice, "This child needs a stable environment. Your emotions are no way to raise a child." Natsumi had never told her this address. And yet, her mother-in-law had found the apartment. When Natsumi asked how, there was no answer. She thought of calling the police, but the word family made her hesitate. Her husband would take his mother's side. Everyone always did. Before anger could come, despair moved through her, cold in the center of her body. Exhausted from crying, Natsumi collapsed onto the tatami and slept. In the middle of the night, she woke all at once. Her eyes were open, but she could not move a finger. She could not make a sound. Somewhere in the silent room, she heard cloth strike the floor. Pawn. After a short pause, again. Pawn. Then she heard a woman's voice. Low. Hoarse. The voice was singing a temari song in the dark. It sounded so natural, so terribly familiar. For one moment, Natsumi thought her grandmother had come. But the sound moved from the corner of the room toward her pillow. Closer, little by little. Unable to move her body, Natsumi turned only her eyes toward it. The old woman in the room looked like no one from her memory. narrow shoulders, a face swallowed by the dark. She seemed to be smiling, but the shadows on her face were too deep. Only the dark mole near her mouth stood out with unnatural clarity. The old woman brought her face close to Natsumi's ear. Then, in a voice meant to soothe a child, she whispered, "That boy, he looks so much like. This time, I won't be left behind." The phone rang suddenly, and Natsumi sat up as if air had been forced back into her lungs. Outside the window, the sky was already turning pale. Was it a dream? Wondering that, she picked up the receiver. It was Hinata. He seemed to be calling in secret from Natsumi's mother-in-law's house. "Are you hurt? Are you alone?" Natsumi asked. "I'm coming for you right now. Wait there." Then Hinata answered in a strangely calm voice, "It's okay. The old lady with the temari called a little while ago. She said she would come first." In that instant, a chill ran down Natsumi's back. From the other end of the line, far away and small, she heard that sound. Pon, pon. 1, the old bridge in the east. 2, the bell deep in the mountains. The song was coming closer. "Run!" Natsumi shouted it. Hinata answered in a small voice, as if he felt sorry for her. "It's too late. She's at the gate now." After that, a cracked woman's voice laid itself perfectly over Hinata's. "I'm not here to pick him up. I came to show him the way back home." Natsumi ran through the rain. When she reached her mother-in-law's house, the gate was half open. It was morning, but the garden looked as dark as evening. She called out. No one answered. At the end of the rain-dark corridor, only the sliding door to the storeroom was open a little. Inside, she found Hinata. He was not crying. He was just sitting there hugging his knees. He held the familiar red cloth temari ball tight against his chest. "I'm okay now," Hinata said. "The old lady left just now." "Where?" When Natsumi asked, Hinata shook his head. "She didn't leave. She said she learned the way. She knows the way now. On quiet nights, she can come again." That same day, Natsumi packed their things. She never went back to that apartment complex again. But on the first night in their new room, from beyond the front door, the sound of a soft cloth temari ball striking the hallway floor came once. Pong! Natsumi later said that only then did she realize she had been holding her breath for a very long time.